Well, dot voting. I have seen dot voting used so many times by so many facilitators, and I think I probably used it once recently and maybe twice in my earlier career in 21 years. So I do not like dot voting. There's many reasons why dot voting does not work, but if you are going to use it, it's in the handout. You can find a ton of resources on it. I do not want to emphasize it because I dislike it so much. I want you to do these 4 things at the very minimum. First of all, if you have a range of options that people are putting dots on to try and get priority, where do we put our attention, where do we, which question do we answer, which strategy do we like best, what decision do we want to really focus in on. There's so many other ways of doing it, which I'm trying to show you in this course. But if you do use it, discuss the data first. Make sure everybody understands each item of the data. So you go over each one carefully and people understand it. And if this one is like this one, combine them into one phrase so they're not splitting their vote between the various pieces of data. So now maybe there's like 7 pieces of data that everyone understands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then you give them a third of the dots for ideas. So there's 7 ideas. How many dots would you give them? Well, you'd probably give them either 2 or 3 dots. So 2 would be a little low, 3 would be just under half. So 3 dots if you had 7 ideas. So everybody's got the same color of dot. You ask them to decide first before they put their dot in place. So you want to make sure you do that. So when they come up, they're not being overly influenced by what they see elsewhere. Make your decision as the instruction and then come and put up your dot. Make sure you put 1 dot on the 3 top options. Don't place all your dots on one option because that allows 1 or 2 people to really skew the result to favor, say, option 1. Now the last thing I'm going to say, and this is what happened to me with the most recent use of dot voting, is there equity in the room? In my case, we tried to use dot voting to help us decide on a particular strategy, and several people in the room felt they were in the minority in the room. They were an underrepresented group, and they said, it doesn't matter what we put, our votes will only count for so much. We will never win this vote. We are totally opposed to using this method. They were very upset. That was again another lesson for me. If you don't have everybody in the room that needs to be in the room, and you have some minority groups, don't use dot voting. Okay, so now you've heard my case for why not dot voting. I hope you don't use it, but if you do, follow these 4 rules.